If you are watching this right now, you are probably on one or two paths. Path one, you don't speak up. You sit in meetings, you know the answer, you have the perspective, but the moment the stakes go up, your voice completely shrinks. You rehearse the conversation 100 times in your head, and then when it finally comes to opening up your mouth, you say something, but it's completely different than what was in your head. And it's really because you want to stay safe. Or you're on the other path. You do speak up. You're loud, you're out there, you say exactly what's on your mind. But you have realized that some of the things that you say are not intentional. And your messaging is not landing. You just say whatever you want, no filter. And maybe that worked for you before. But what you're realizing is that that's not getting you where you want. You're performing authority, but you aren't actually commanding the room. Whichever path you're on, the result is exactly the same. You're shrinking. You are proving. You are hiding. And for many of us, we're armoring up just to stay safe. And that is completely exhausting you. Hi, I'm Jessica Rivera, and I am a communication strategist. I go in and I help big organizations with their executive presence, with their communication style in order to build trust, stop betraying yourself, and truly survive in and thrive in corporate. Now, today, I want to talk about fear running the show. See, for over 2 decades, I myself was in corporate and I myself was sitting in these rooms. So stick with me today. It's episode 1 of our Brave series. Over the next 6 sessions, we are going to break down exactly how you communicate to yourself and to others, how you master difficult conversations, and how you show up in every single room, your energy and your presence. And by the end of this series, you will understand yourself so much better on a deeper level, and you can finally show up as the person you want to be, on the person who doesn't have to armor up every single time they feel like they're not controlling the situation, not the person you used to be. All right, now let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into it. Your communication style is not your personality. It's your survival strategy. And I want to tell you something that nobody told me for a very, very long time. The moment when you go quiet, the moment that you start over explaining yourself, that is not your personality trait. You're not just an introvert. You're not just a bad public speaker. You're not just shy. All of that is your survival strategy. That is something that you came up with a very long time. And you are running on an outdated method. You are running an outdated survival strategy that you no longer have to do. And it was built a very long time ago in a room that had absolutely nothing to do with the courtroom, the boardroom you're in today, the corporate boardroom you're in today. You are standing today. I want us to be where our feet are. So let me tell you a little bit about me, because this is going to help you figure out your leadership shadow. So I want you to imagine I'm in the 6th grade. I don't know, how old are we in the 6th grade? 11 years old or something like that. And I had a project. I was supposed to sell something with a group of other people. And I remember it was like a cereal box or something that we had transformed into something else. So I stood at the front of the class with my partner, and I remember the exact physical sensation. My voice started shaking. My chest started getting so tight. My face, my whole body got hot. I felt like those cartoons where it's like, you get hot all the way up where it turns red. And then I started crying and I ran out of the room. Not like the graceful tear down your eye, like a full-blown panic attack, and I didn't even know what was happening. So I ran out of the room, and I don't remember what happened next, but I know for sure that that was the moment that I was told, if like my body told me that if I'm speaking in front of people, it's embarrassing. I was highly charged. My nervous system made a decision in that moment, and it logged it as data. And it said, visibility equals danger. Speaking up equals exposure, and exposure equals pain. I want you to think about what that moment was for you. Because from that day forward, I avoided microphones like they were a weapon. I avoided microphones. Oh my God, the thought of public speaking made me so scared and nervous. And here is what you have to understand about fear and communication. Your nervous system is extremely intelligent, and it will keep those records, think about when you tell an old story, you can sometimes transport yourself and feel like you are there, like it's happening in the moment. And every time you use your voice and something goes wrong, or you were judged, or somebody laughed at you, or you felt like they laughed at you, my system, your system, kept the score. It kept logging it as a line of fire. And that's what happened to both of us. Over time, it was a built pattern. It became the default, a way of moving through the world that felt like protection. Like, I'm not grabbing that microphone. There is no way. The problem is not that the pattern exists. The problem is that the pattern was built for a version of you that you have completely outgrown. You've already outgrown that person. You're not the sixth grade person anymore. I'm not the sixth grade person anymore. You are a completely different individual. You're not that person at the dinner table that's going to get punished for saying what they want to say. You're past that. You're past that relationship where you couldn't speak your truth without anger or silence coming up. You're not the person dealing with the mean girl energy in high school anymore, although we know it could exist in corporate sometimes. You're here. You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. You are in a completely different room, and you can make the room different if you want to. Completely different stakes here, and completely different capability. You're so much more capable, but your nervous system has not gotten the memo. And this is what I call your leadership shadow. It's the wound underneath your default communication style. If you are taking notes, I need you to write this down. Your leadership shadow is the wound underneath your default communication style. And it is the thing you are compensating for without even knowing it. It is the fear that has been calling itself your personality for entirely too long. And I need you to look at me and hear me clearly. It is not who you are. It is what happened to you. It is the way you reacted. It is your nervous system taking note. But there's a massive difference. And I spent years in corporate leading from that shadow. I got promoted to a manager. I got the title. I got the director title. I got all of the things that I wanted. And I did not realize that I was still operating from this leadership shadow. I had opinions. I had strong ones. And I was always afraid to voice them in rooms that I was not sure if they were going to agree with me. So my team loved me. I was warm. I did all of the things. But when it came to my level or above, in the rooms where I felt that they were in control of my next promotion, I froze. I was not leading with intention. I was leading from the wound. And I didn't even know it. And here's what most high performers forget. When they feel that gap between who they are and who they are showing up as, they try to push through it with willpower. Then they read a book on confidence, right? We read all the books, at least I know I did. right? We read a book on confidence and they tell themselves, okay, speak up more. And you fake it till you make it. That does not work, or might work for a minute when the risk is lower. But when the risks are high, it does not work. The executive meetings where everybody is negotiating, where we're rehearsing, you're rehearsing for weeks what to say. The performance conversation with the team member who always makes you feel like you said something wrong. That's the old pattern taking over. Why? Because you cannot outwork, listen to me here, you cannot outwork an old identity level belief with behavioral level fix. Does not work. It doesn't work. You can't just slap on a communication tactic on top of an unhealed nervous system. It's not sustainable. In the moments when the pressure's high, the pattern will come back. That's when the pattern comes back the fastest and the most, because you are under pressure. So this is the fix. Let's go deeper. This is how we fix it. So by the end of this session, you're going to map out your wound, the exact wound that you need to work on, the ones I work on with my private clients, with my corporate clients. I'm not giving it to you someday. I'm giving it to you right now, this week. This is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down with a piece of paper, and I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. This is how you find your power leak that you may not even know is happening. Okay? I call it the Awaken Your Power Map Gap. Okay? This is the space between the leadership that you want and that you're capable of and reverting back to your survival strategy. Okay. Number 1, where did I learn that using my voice was risky? I don't want you to think about a general feeling. I want you to think about the very specific time that you realized your voice was risky. Was it a teacher? Was it an early boss? Was it a parent? Like, what was it? What specific repeated experience taught your nervous system that taught you that speaking up was dangerous? That's number 1. Number 2, what conclusion did you draw? What did you decide it meant about you, about your voice? Maybe speaking up made people angry, or maybe they made you feel like your ideas were not valuable, or wanting more than you have was you wanting too much, you being ungrateful. Somewhere along the way, you decided that speaking up meant danger. So we have to figure out what that is. Because one of them continues to run the show, and you just pushing through it, the willpower is not going to help you awaken your power. Okay, number 3. What is your overcompensation? What behavioral pattern have you been calling your personality that is actually your wound in disguise? For me, it was my armor, for sure. Are you the person who overprepares for everything because you're terrified of being caught off guard? Are you the person who says yes to everything because you need approval from everyone to feel safe? Are you the person who goes quiet when authority figures are in the room because that's just what you were taught? What's yours? I want you to write all 3 down, and then I want you to read them out loud to yourself. That's your leadership shadow. And you have seen it clearly. Now you're going to be able to see it really clearly, possibly for the first time. That visibility, that moment that you name, once you can't fix something that you refuse to acknowledge. So this is your first step. Not because seeing it magically makes it disappear, but because you cannot change what you cannot see. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The fear will still arrive, of course, It will arrive in the meeting tomorrow, probably. It will arrive in the negotiation next week. It will arrive every single time stakes go up. But now you will know what it actually is. It's not you. It's not your personality. It is not the signal to stay quiet. It is the signal to tap into your truth. It is the signal that you are about to do something that truly matters. Okay, we're not doing like tips and tricks here. We're not doing tips and tricks here. This series is going to help you truly tap in and get to know yourself so much better. We're not doing just fluff. We are going to find the fear, we're going to name it, and we're going to interrupt the pattern. Then we're going to build the identity that does not require you to stay small. Because brave is not an absence of fear. Brave is a choice you make inside of it. Brave is not the absence of fear. Brave is the choice you make when you are inside of it. Okay, so do the work, map out your shadow, and I'll see you next week where we'll talk about exactly how to interrupt this pattern before it decides that this is just who you are. I'll see you next time.